My question also concerns those who are seeking sanctuary in the UK. Until 2002, asylum seekers whose case had not been processed for 6 months were allowed to work. This is no longer the case. What is your party's position on reinstating that policy and allowing those who are waiting for a decision by the Home Office to get a temporary work permit so that they can have a source of income, are not dependent on the state, and have a sense of dignity, particularly in view of the fact that there is now an incredibly long backlog of 450,000 people waiting for a decision and possibly not even making the deadline of July 2011.
Thank you. Well, you did go to speak last time. Would you like to go this time?
I will. Just to say that I'm very disappointed that the most important issues facing Britain at the moment are environmental ones. They're to do with the state of Britain, the loss of land, immigration, the stress put on food production, on importing energy, on using water, and these issues are not being looked at all, and I'm just flabbergasted that we haven't had what I regard as a fundamentally important question about the long-term environmental future of this country, which includes not just asylum seekers, but immigration, and the fact that we are the fourth most densely populated country in the world, which no politician will talk about.
Yeah.
I think this is not a question about immigration. This is a question about refugee status. And whatever view we may take about the issues surrounding immigration, we have a responsibility in relation to those who are genuinely seeking sanctuary from torture and perhaps death. My point, I think, is this, that we know, however, as we knew at Oakington, that a very large number of those who seek refugee status do so without justification and do so on the basis that they want, in fact, to be economic migrants. We have, therefore, to be careful in the way in which we administer their refugee application, their asylum application, that we don't create the impression across the world that if only you get to Britain and make a claim for asylum, somehow you're going to evade what should otherwise be clear border controls and immigration procedures. Now, with those already here, my view is this, that we should not give them a blanket opportunity to work, but that if we have met, or if employers in this country are seeking to employ somebody and have met the normal rules about doing so on the basis of seeing whether there is somebody who has a right to live in this country and work in this country, that then those who are in this country and as asylum seekers should be given an opportunity to seek that work in the same way as somebody would from another country under the points-based system.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
The answer is yes, they should be allowed to work. I think there are two issues here. The first is a simple one of human dignity, and the second is that it's going to be good for the economy. The fact of the matter is that it tends to be clever people who are pointing out the inadequacies of regimes abroad, and many of them have come to this part of the country anyway. The fact that they're fleeing makes their situation difficult, but it is our advantage, and we should take advantage of it, and we should put their brains to work, actually creating wealth for us, creating intelligence for us, teaching, and actually sharing the good stuff that they have.
I promised myself I would never say a phrase that's in my mind, but some
Go on, you know you want to.
Some of my views on this issue are congruent with Sebastian's. Again, I think what Sebastian said is correct. I think what we've got to do is make sure the system is more efficient so we can process the applications much quicker and better. And the government has been trying to do that. It's not easy. However, having said that, I do think there is a strong case where you've got intelligent people who really want to work, who've got skills that this country could benefit from, to be able to compete on an equal basis with others to find work. I think that's absolutely right. I mean, I think we've got to sometimes stop thinking of ourselves as a fortress. I think we are part of the world. We're globalised. There are movements across borders all the time. People are moving all the time. We have to take a bigger view, which is that we have to address some of the core problems in countries which force people to leave. You know, war, poverty, persecution, oppression, torture. All of these things are things that I'm interested in. And if we address those issues, then we can limit the impact in terms of refugees as well.
Well, Britain has Britain is a global power still, and we do need to keep this this refugee status, that the asylum for refugees, genuine refugees. This lady, you mentioned 2011, a deadline. Can you just clarify that?
That was the ideal date that all the backlog would be.
Oh right, yeah, oh right. So it's a target.
Well,
yes. Well, in principle, I agree that people should be allowed. They should, as you say, have dignity, and as you say, people who are in danger in their own countries very often are the people with skills that we could use. And yes, I agree with that. I don't actually know what where my party stands on that, but I would agree with that because I think it's a very useful, and surely we'll all be the winners. They'll be the winners and we'll be the winners. Robin, though, does have a point when it comes to space, but he is talking about immigration and our lack of control of it, and we're talking about refugees, which is a different matter, and they do need sorting.
Thank you.